should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
I wanna love you.
Oh, I need a whole new system.
Everybody, round of applause for Linda. It was very difficult for her to get here today, but she's here and gorgeous.
I thank you. Appreciate that. Season 11, episode 4, Love is the Absence of Judgment. Guys, hopefully you can hear me well. I'm on my phone. I'm having major, still. Anyways, I'm Linda. That's April. And we're getting into all things 90 Day Fiance. In April, I have a ton of questions. Honestly, I have so many questions. Hopefully you have the answers. So let's just jump in.
Let's jump in.
Overall thoughts.
I love this season.
Okay.
That's my overall arching thought. We are getting so many different scenarios with people who I think are sincere. Is every situation great and ideal? Absolutely not. But do I believe every single one of them? Yes, I do.
Agreed. I'll go with agreed. Greg is on my last nerve, but we'll get there. So
okay.
Jessica and Juan, they wake up. They haven't had sexy time, you guys, and that's important in a relationship. She gets up and makes him breakfast, and for me, it was a little bit like, ooh, bananas and scrambled eggs. Have you had that before together, April?
I have not, but I've had eggs and plantains.
So different. Don't even try it. Don't try that with me.
I'm trying to give her some leeway here. She's working with what she's got in the house. She knows he likes soft eggs.
April, as an African, eggs and plantain are very important to our culture. So let's not pretend that that's what this was, because it wasn't.
He just seems very unprepared for him to be in the house.
Yes, Jocelyn, you and I are on the same page. Bananas. Okay. So it's the first morning together in Torrington, Wyoming. I think that's where it is. Never been there. No sexy time yet because they're realizing, we got a bunch of kids here. We got to make this no door, all the things. So after eating, she realizes they have a little bit of time because the kids are still sleeping because they're tired from the night before. So she wants to, quote, snuggle a bit. And then they have sexy time for the first time in 2 nights since he's been there. What were your thoughts on that, April?
She got in the bed with all her clothes on.
Oh, what did you say?
She got in the bed with all her clothes on. She already was dressed for the day. And then she got back into the bed with all of her clothes on.
I'm not going to go on a tangent, y'all. You already know. April said it. I didn't say it. April said it.
But she's just I don't know. She just overall seems a little bit unprepared for him to be there. Maybe she never really thought that the K visa was going to get approved. I don't know. But I don't know. She just seems unprepared for him to be there. But let's go. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. And okay, no, I'll leave it alone. So she's going to take him on a tour of the city and show him where she grew up and all those things. So the first stop is her childhood home. Her parents seem to live right down the street from her. He's like, wow, this is beautiful. This is like the Prince of Bel-Air house. I cracked up. Definitely not Beverly Hills. And you're in Wyoming, friend. That's not this, but I get it. They go to the main street. There's only 6 restaurants. 4 of them are Mexican restaurants, a couple American restaurants, a couple of Chinese restaurants, and that's it. And he's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to start cooking because, like, what is this? Small town or a retirement villa? And I cracked up laughing. April, could you live in a small town?
I'm from a small town, and I would not be interested in voluntarily living in a small town again.
I'm not from a small town. I could not live in a small town, y'all. I couldn't do it. I need big city lifestyle. What up, Joslo? Hey, Mila. I don't know.
Joe.
I'm not sure who's in here. I got out of a small town. Mila said, "You know what? I don't blame you. I don't blame you." They have one movie theater, one gym, a bunch of cows, and the whole town is 6,000 people in total.
And it smells like poop. The poop part, I do agree with her. That eventually does go away. Like, you eventually do get used to that smell. But the ability to access certain things, I'm talking about like museums, libraries, other people, other cultures, music. Like, it's so limited in a small town. I'm not interested.
That's why I just think it's so important, Americans, that you guys go travel. And I know that travel is expensive and all of that stuff, but I really want you to get outside of your own city, even if you live in a big city. I think it's just really, really, really important. So they're gonna meet up with a bunch of her friends for dinner. And her friends already have some issues with who he is and whether he cheated or not. And they kind of left it at, yeah, he cheated on that last cruise he was with, and he felt lonely and all this stuff. But he owned up to it, but he didn't own up to it to Jessica before he owned up to it to the group. What were your thoughts on that, April?
I don't understand why this friend feels like he has to talk to her about these private things. I'm a little, do you understand what her perspective is on this? Because I was really searching for, why does she feel like this is her business?
No, I 100%. First of all, you guys, if you're going to bring a third party into your business, then expect this to be it. So if you haven't reconciled whatever the issue is in your relationship and you bring a third and fourth party into it, expect it to get messy. It is her fault, in my opinion, for bringing the friend in. It's not the friend's business to be there interrogating Juan. Juan knows what he did. Juan should have fessed up to Jessica, and it should have been a one-on-one private conversation, and they should both decide whether they're going to move forward in the relationship. However, that's not what happened. Now it's all out there. Everyone's in your business. Now your friends are not going to like him regardless now, because now he's a cheater in their mind, and this is the first time they're meeting him in real life. So you set this up, so here you are. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and then she just stood there watching it happen and not intervening. So I was, yeah, if anybody thinks that the friend had a point or had a reason, can you just tell me? Just put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Replay game, put it in, just let me know. I'm open-minded. I'm open to seeing what that perspective is, because I don't get it.
Facts. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget to say that, and I haven't forgotten. We're moving on to Greg and Joan, and I just want y'all. Greg is a scrub. I cannot. I'm trying to find out, April, what it is that she saw in him to leave her life. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was it?
Well, in the first episode, I felt like I could understand, but as time is going on, I am too puzzled by her decision to love him. Because in the very first episode, I thought, oh, this is somebody who's like super transparent and honest. But then, like, we've moved beyond that, and I'm like, yeah, he's transparent and honest, but he's broke
And lazy. And yes,
lazy.
yes, Natalie, he looks sweaty and smelly.
He turned down the ability, like, who among us gets to just say that job isn't quite what I want to do, so I'm just going to stay jobless?
This fool is lazy. You guys, you heard me last week, and I'm going to say it again this week. This fool's lazy. Some people have ambition. Some people do not have ambition. This fool is like, it says 35, and I find that hard to believe, in my own opinion. But he's 35. He's never left his mom's house. He's always lived at home, and he has no job. He doesn't want to get a job. Can you imagine Americans getting a city job? And I mean, I know you guys know what that means. That means benefits for life, a job for life, and you turn it down because it's not quite your passion. What's your passion, fool? You don't even have a job. Get it together. Ugh. So anyways, they wake up. He feels good. He feels, quote, great, the best he's ever felt. He's missed her. And they roll over in bed after some, alone time. And the mom is mowing the lawn. So he decides that he's going to say hey to his mom out the window. He calls out for her, and literally, my note says SMH. They didn't have any sexy time because they wanted to respect the mom and her boundaries. And he's hoping to send his mom to Florida to visit her friends so that they can have some sexy time. How about you get a job? How about you get an apartment? Jocelyn said, I heard spoilers that they're married and she's helping him online with an online bakery. Oh, Lord. So I don't know how true that is. I'll look into that, Joslo. That sounds ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Greg goes downstairs. Mom is making breakfast. And even then, April, I had some issues because, you just went and mowed the grass. You still have your outside hat on from the grass and all of the debris. And now you're cooking food. And I know that there was no, washing up going on there. You didn't even take off your shoes. Y'all know how I feel. And I just feel like, ugh.
Yeah, it's my first thought when Joslo wrote that she was they're doing an online bakery, or somebody said Joslo said she's doing an online bakery. Look at 1,000 pieces said, are they a real couple? The first thing I thought about was the hygiene issue.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Because he hasn't been hygienic in the past couple of episodes, and now here's mom like, oh God, I hope they're not doing an online bakery.
Ew, yuck. Ew, yuck. And then the mom has an issue about her showering. And April, you and I touched on this, I think it was last week or the week before. And I just want to let you guys know for I'm just going to say it, and you guys can come for me, that's fine. But white people, we shower twice a day. We shower at night so that all the grime from outside, we don't bring it into our clean house. That's why we take off our shoes. We, clean linens. You shower so that you have a clean body that goes in your clean bed. And then in the morning, after you've maybe you sweat a little bit, maybe you're older, maybe you're going through perimenopause or menopause, or maybe you had a little sexy time, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you decided to have a late night snack, whatever. You're going to get up, and then are you going to go outside and subject people to that nastiness, or are you going to quickly shower in the morning and then go out clean and clean? That is how we were raised. So when Greg's mom had a huge issue about her showering at night and in the daytime and worried about her water bill, I'm sorry, but my note said white people. Is it different? And maybe I don't know. And you guys can school me, because I mean, Ashton Kutcher and his wife are saying that they shower once a week. So what?
Yeah, this is a definite break in racial culture. You heard the mom even say, "Well, she could just get in the pool."
And that's the other thing. That's why you can't go in anyone's pool, y'all. Some of these people are bathing in their pool.
Yeah. Well, they're not even bathing, because bathing would imply that there's soap. They're just getting wet. But I grew up around kids who were not Black, who legitimately had been taught that if we get in the river or if we get in the pool, then that is their bath for the day. But I would go home and always have to take a real bath, because you don't go to bed without taking a bath. I will shower up to 3 times a day because if I go to the gym in the middle of the day, I'm gonna shower after I work out. But I used to work with people who would work out in the middle of the day like I did, and then just put their work clothes back on. I always went to shower afterwards, and they were not Black people.
I need you guys to explain it to me because uh, y'all are traumatizing me. You're traumatizing me. You're traumatizing me because then you're like in the food and hospitality industries. Y'all are out
Yeah.
there running amok, and we just had a pandemic. Like, can you explain it?
This is a historical issue, you know that, right?
How so?
Don't you? So I read like that the Moors, when they went to England, that they were very much like these people stink. Like before it was called England, when they went up into that area where Walish was called Walish before Wales. They like in their texts, they're like these people stink. They don't have they don't have proper sewage system. There's just shit in the streets.
Oh my God, April, I I can't. I
This
can't.
is this is historical fact. I'm not not making it up. I'm serious. And then like during the time of the Tudors, well, I mean, they're still the Tudors, but like the time of like, let's say around like Henry VIII, I was reading that the reason why so many upper class white women were dying in childbirth was because the male doctors didn't believe in washing their hands. They had this policy like a gentleman's hands are never dirty. And so when they studied why are poor women having better outcomes in birth than rich wealthy women, the difference was that the midwives washed their hands. Literally said like his one wife that died after childbirth, she would have survived if the doctor had just washed his hands. I'm telling you the truth.
Jazza said, Linda, we could never live in the 1800s. I'm not even sure if I can live right now. I am stressed out right now. I'm very stressed out. And again, no disrespect, but if you can explain it to me, literally, you guys, I have tears in my eyes. Like, I'm so. If you could explain to me, that'd be great. If you're watching the replay, please. Like, I do want to learn and know, and maybe I'm making it a bigger deal than it is. But that's just this. It like, look at me. I I can't even. So, anyways, we find out also besides like the now non-showering business, cleanliness business, that Greg doesn't help out. His mom says doesn't help out with any of the bills. Doesn't know what bills look like. He thought, quote, water was for free. And y'all, he's 35 years old. And then the mom goes ahead and asks about Joan and the dogs, whether she does. And here's the thing, you guys. Like, I love a dog. I love a dog. I love a cute dog. But her concern is about the dogs and the dogs being on the bed and the dogs licking up on her legs and whether Joan showers 3 times a day. Is that really your concern? Your son has no job. Thinks he's going to own a bakery and then goes ahead and bakes with his non-showered hands and puts the bread in a bin like I told you guys, and there's no gloves, nothing, and then he distributes to his neighbors. Like, why do you think why are you like that? Why are you doing that? You couldn't go to a grocery store or a restaurant without grading. So like, why is this okay? Oh my gosh. So the mom's not happy. She's worried about the water bill. Doesn't want Joan to quote abuse taking a shower. Joan girl, go ahead and take as many showers as you want, please. If
You
I
know, it's not an American thing to not shower. That is a cultural divide that exists in this country. If you're watching, it's just maybe it's because I'm from Uganda. No, ma'am, that's not what's happening here.
Reagan failure to launch that part. You said it nicer than I did, Joslo. I said Greg sucks. Yeah, that's it. Because his mom went on to say that Joan, in order to like keep her upkeep, she could help Greg keep his room tidy. I was like, how old are you? What? What?
I love the fact that she immediately was like, I did not come here to pick up after him.
Yep. She said, I'm not here to look after Greg. He needs to grow up. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. LOL, Linda, relax. The heat kills. The heat. Joslo. Joslo said the heat kills germs.
She's just getting your goat.
I'm just gonna move on because you guys know I can go off. I don't know why Joslo is trying to bait me because tangent, and I'm trying to keep this like concise. It's a Saturday, so they go shopping. They're going grocery shopping. There's no budget. He doesn't know what a budget is. He doesn't know about anything because he doesn't know what anything costs because he doesn't have a job. I don't even know where he got the $70, probably from his mom, to go grocery shopping. Joan really does think America is expensive for groceries, and I agree. You guys know how I love strawberries, but why are strawberries like $8 right now? Why are eggs like $20 right now? Why is olive oil like $30 right now? Like, can we explain it? Because in my whole life, I've never had to pay those type of prices. So, like, what exactly are we? Oh, Kathleen, is that Maya? Is it Maya? I know it's Mila. Mila Cruz. Thank you so much. You know what you just did. Thank you so very much. I haven't had someone like support me like that in a very long time. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So they're shopping. It's expensive. He wants to buy some. I love the fact they bought okra. You guys, when I was at Canadian Superstore, I don't know if you guys know, there's this new dried okra and it's delicious. So April, it's like potato chips, but they make it with okra, and there's like a spicy jalapeno, and there's like a regular flavor. And when I tell you, my mom and I went crazy because we both love okra. It's bomb. It's bomb.
I'll give it a whirl. I like okra fried only. I don't like when my mom makes okra soup.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Do you like okra in like spinach stew?
I don't like okra stewed at all. I want it fried.
Okay.
Like I will do it if there's nothing else in the house. But if I have choices, I'm not going for the okra stewed or in a soup. I want it fried and crunchy with some gizzards.
I'm gonna make you something though, and you're gonna love it. And I'm not gonna tell you okra's in it.
Okay.
So Joan and Greg continue to shop, you guys, and then she really is trying to stress the fact that she wants their own place, and then he decides to tell her that he declined the state job. My note literally says SMH, and she's like, "We need the money," and he's like, "Yeah, but I wasn't passionate about it." You weren't passionate about working, you lazy butt.
This is so bizarre to me that he thinks that he could be this age and have the pick of what kind of job he's going to get. I know creatives. You know creatives. People who are trying to be actors and artists and all kind of things. They work whatever jobs.
Yeah, get your life together. Get your life together because you don't have a life. Joslo, Raydella, and Michelle. Oh,
You guys, even fried, you don't like your okra?
y'all, what are
That's
you?
crazy.
That is crazy.
I just ate like a whole little tub full of fried okra and pig skins. That's why I was running late, Linda. Sorry. Honestly, they do it perfect too. Like if you eat fried pig skins, I love when they leave the layer of fat on it so that it's like gooey on one side and crispy on the other side. Oh, so good.
Oh well, you guys, I'm just moving on. I'm moving on. I've already had like technical issues. I can't get into the drama in the live chat, but clearly. Let's talk about Sean and Aaliyah, and I really want to dive into your professional opinion because I had a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
So they start the scene. It's the day after the wedding, and obviously Aaliyah was a no-show, and that was the whole thing. They go back. I think it was like 30 days before, and she's in Brazil. She's trying on wedding dresses. She explains how she went from Douglas to Aaliyah. She's now a trans woman. This is something that she dreamed she always wanted to have, which is a wedding day. And now she's going to be moving to California. Sean lives in West Hollywood. And you guys, Sean's rich, rich. I just want to let you guys know that. Like, West Hollywood and his gorgeous house, literally, my note says gorgeous home. He's rich, rich.
Yeah.
And rich because he has done like hair. I want to say hair and makeup because makeup it can be two different it can be many people, but department wise it's usually one. But Ugly Betty, hit show, Scream, hit movie, Men in Black, hit movie, etc. So like he's not wanting for anything. So he also tells us that his house was rumored to be built by Charlie Chaplin, which shows like the history of the house, the bones of the house, and the fact that like y'all, he's rich, rich. Like
Yeah. Isn't all of that area like all of West Hollywood is very affluent?
mm-hmm. And so he's a Hollywood hairstylist. He was married before, had a wife, married for 14 years, 3 kids, went to beauty school. And then after his divorce, he started identifying as gay. And then he was on online dating sites. He met Douglas during the pandemic. And so here's my first question to you, because I'm not, and I'm sorry if I sound ignorant, but I don't know, and that's why I'm asking the question. But if you realize that you're gay, and then so you're attracted to same sex, you meet someone that's same sex, but then that person is then now or going through transgender, or maybe didn't realize they were transgender and now realizes they're transgender, then like what does that look like for your relationship? Because if you have gone through the journey to find who you are as a person, and you say, hey, I'm now attracted to same sex, but then you meet someone and fall in love, and that same sex is now a different gender, what does that what like where does that leave you, and like what type of questions do you have to have for yourself and for your relationship?
It's a lot. I mean, so we saw him struggle with this in the last season that they were on, trying to decide, does this fit what I want? I'm not going to impede on this other person becoming who they want to be, but I do have to make a decision about whether or not it fits with what I want. And that could even change in the future, because right now he's decided that this is fine. But if Aaliyah wants to go on and have further procedures, then that might not be fine. We saw that with Laverne Cox. Um, it was a situation where the person was fine with you wearing clothing that identified with your gender being female and with you having breast surgery. But when it came to having bottom surgery, the partner was like, I draw the line there. That I cannot do. Right. So just individually for each person, it's about what works for them. Of course, you're not going to stop that other person from changing to who they want to be. And even Kris Jenner talked about this. She said that years ago she knew that Bruce. Years ago she knew that. Tell me the name.
What?
Not Bruce Jenner anymore.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn. So Kris said that years ago she knew Caitlyn liked to wear women's clothing. And that was something that they kept between themselves and went on for years. But when it came to the point that Caitlyn was like, okay, I want to come out in public now and live as a woman, that is the point where Kris was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So for each individual person, they're going to have their own, limits of what they want and what's okay for them. Very personal. And I appreciated the fact that we are seeing him give us his like inner monologue on how he's making that decision. And we know that he's been with a woman previously, so he's going to be able to honestly say, is this what he wants right now or not?
I guess my question, April, is like, is it fair for someone who's taken the journey to find out who they are and then decides that they're going to put themselves out there and they think that they meet someone that meets those criteria and then that person switches it up? Is it fair to that person who's done the work? Because Aaliyah's just coming into her own and it's brand new for her, and it was even Sean that introduced her. I don't know if introduce is the right word, but Sean that allowed her,
Maybe gave some permission.
no, like
Like,
allowed her to feel comfortable, like, hey, they were in Spain, let's put this wig on, let
yeah,
like do all that. And I don't know, you guys, like I guess there's so many different, I guess like sexuality is so fluid now that I don't know, but I do feel like Sean 62, he probably did the work
hmm
to, after 14 years of being in a heterosexual relationship, to say, hey, you know what? I identify as gay and I'm coming out as gay. And then so to be in a same-sex relationship, but then now not, because his partner decided that she's transgender.
yeah.
I don't know if that's, I just don't know if that's,
Well, I don't even think that fair is actually the right word. So there's two different things. There's two different things that I'm thinking. One is if you are in your 60s and you choose to date somebody who's in their 20s or 30s, you have to understand that there's a lot of development that they haven't done that you've already done. And you can't hold them to the same standard that you have at 60 years old. If you want somebody who's lived as long as you have and had as much experience and time to figure out who they are as you have, then date your own age, number one. And then number two, people do change. You know, you might enter into a marriage where you and your husband agree that you want 4 children, but after you give birth one time, you're just like, no, this was not for me. I'm out. My body can't do this anymore. And then at that point, you renegotiate your relationship. Are you okay, partner, with only having one child? If you're not, is there a way that we can work this out? If it's not, then we're not together anymore. So you don't get to enter into a relationship with anyone and demand that they stay the exact same person they were when that relationship started.
mm, okay. My second issue or question was, so now Leah is going to go for her K1 interview in Brazil. And, when she applied as Douglas, her old self. And she's going to go into the interview and she wants to be true to herself. So she's going into the interview as Aaliyah, and that's what she does. She shows up to the interview as a girl. We see her struggle with that, talk to her best friend, Vincino, I think that was his name. And he tells her to play safe, which was honestly my thought as well, because government moves very slow and you guys have already waited this long. April, what is your advice as an immigration attorney and this situation happens where someone is perhaps either transitioning or they now identify X
hmm
or Y, um, but when they first applied, because that process takes some time, they were a different gender. What is your advice?
So there was a question that didn't get answered in the show, which is, do you want your documents issued as Douglas or Leah? Have you done a legal name change? If a legal name change has been done, my advice would be that you need to take all of those original documents with you so they can be issued in the proper name. If they haven't been done, then unfortunately they're going to be issued under the name Douglas. What you wear to the interview is of no consequence to me as the attorney or to the person who's conducting the interview. They do not care. What they care about is this name matching your passport?
Mm,
So they didn't tell us like if there was any legal name change or legal gender marker changing that was done. That's what matters.
mm. But to me, it sounded like that was not done, because it sounded to me like they were going off of the original documentation that was filed a few years ago. And that's why Aaliyah was having issues, because
Okay.
she's like, I want to be my authentic self, which doesn't, again, you guys, set you guys up for success, right? So I'm sure there must be people out there that can identify, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Whatever it is, America's in a transitional phase. Make sure you know what you're talking about if you're trying to come to America, or if you have business in America, or you're vacationing in America. The rules are different right now. 2025 is different. Don't just think whatever you applied for a visa 2 months ago applies at the same time today. Make sure you're checking and you're up to date before you make any type of travel moves, because I don't want you guys to have wasted money and be disappointed in the results, because things are up in flux right now.
This has happened to me. I got a work permit denied because I didn't have it was like a longer story, but your passport number changes and I didn't know that. So when I applied for my new passport, the number didn't match the when I applied for my work permit and it got denied. So it happens. What matters is, do the documents match? So if no legal name change has been done and you're not planning on trying to get one done before the interview, then the name is going to be Douglas. Whether you show up dressed like what stereotypical man would be dressed like or dressed like a girl is irrelevant. Are you Douglas? Will you answer to the name Douglas for this when they call you for the interview? Then that's all that matters.
Yeah, but how many people are really like that open-minded, especially at Border Patrol and USCIS?
So for the consular interview process, they are pretty strict. I mean, like, different people can have their own prejudices and how they conduct the interview, but they're pretty strict on the legal requirements. Like, you can't deny someone just because they are transgender or just because they're gay. They're fine about that. And somebody else is going to review it too. So I wasn't as worried about that as they are in this episode. The only question I had was, what do the legal documents say the name is, and are you okay with that? Like, is the fear that you have, or is the issue that you have that you don't want to answer the name Douglas? When they come into the waiting room and they call the name Douglas, is your issue that you don't want to answer to that? That was what I was thinking about.
Got
I
it.
don't care how you're dressed.
Got it. Let's move on to Maddie and Stevie.
I don't like her.
I feel like she's a liar by omission, and that is a scary place to be, right? To already be in a situation and then someone drop in information after you already gotten there without having the proper information before you got there so you can make informed decision. That's a scary place to be. And it's also scary to me because she's also like in the South, in Mississippi. And you guys need to put all the factors in place. Like, even if you don't have any crazy stereotypes, you don't know what that next person to you is thinking. You don't know what your neighbor's thinking. You don't even know what your family's thinking. And you want to have a successful relationship, then set your partner up for success. And that's not what she's doing here, in my opinion. She's just doing whatever's making her happy.
She's
And
not. She's not. She's not. She's also not introspective. She's not facing the reality. When she said, "My dad thinks that all people are good people," ma'am, that's a lie.
facts. Facts. So he gets to the house for the first time. He says there's booze everywhere. There's too many. Why? He's coming from a country where you can get arrested for nude pictures, so it's hard for him to reconcile all of this. And then Madi, you are like my cat twin. Uh, and I heard you guys in the replay, and I heard you guys in my DMs. And I'm sorry, but I'm still going to stand on business. I'm going to stand 10 toes deep or on every day. But I'm not a cat person. With him, he thinks it's unclean. He wanted to wash his hands because cats are outside things for him. in his country, and I just don't like them. And I think that should be okay that I don't like cats. I like rabbits and birds and dogs and giraffes and elephants, and the list can go on. I just particularly I'm a cat person, and that's that.
It's fine if he doesn't like cats, but I do want somebody to tell him that what he's thinking about is not a problem for him. He said that his mom said that cats can make women sick or make something. It's yeah, there is. Like when you're pregnant, you have to be away from cats because there is something that they can pass on to you. But that's it, only when you're pregnant.
I mean, April, you're the same black woman that let cats sleep on your head, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was never pregnant during that time either.
I'm not
But it's
talking.
fine. If he says he just doesn't want the cat around, he doesn't want the cat touching him, that's fine. That's his prerogative. He can totally make that statement, but it's not gonna make him sick.
Okay, so yeah, okay. That's your point. I'm just saying that you're either a cat person or you're not a cat person, and both things can be okay, you guys. Okay?
He said the cats live outside. That cracked me up because, like, cats are everywhere. Cats are everywhere in neighboring countries around them. So it's just funny that they're different in Iran.
Yeah, right. That's it. I'm not here for it, and I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys. That's it. I'm not here for it. Yeah. So he's having some concerns about Stevie's sexuality because of all these paintings, which I thought was like a weird, like, how did you get from A to Z? So she paints women's bodies, and now you're wondering if she is, quote, into women, and he's questioning that, and then now he feels like he might have been catfished. I was like, that sounds ignorant.
It makes sense to me that she would paint women more than men because she does live painting. And like, can you imagine how gross men would be if you invited them into their space to do live painting, nude paintings of them? That would not be safe for a woman to do. So it makes sense she does it for women.
Natalie, I'm not sure if you and I have met, but this live chat, it's like you're my soulmate. You and I are on the exact same page. I don't know if you're my new bestie or what, but you and I are thinking very much alike. So shout out to Natalie. That being said, Stevie knows that her dad has some biases. Her friends and family have some biases. She hasn't told her dad anything about Marty until like the day before or 2 days before that he was going to arrive. Again, not setting him up for success. And Marty feels like taken aback. Like, what are you talking about? You've had a whole year that we've been together. How did you not have one conversation with your family about me? And now I'm here. Your dad, even in the preview, when the dad said something about jihad, I was like, America, could you do better? Because you sound ignorant, Dad, and you sound like a racist. And I'm not saying people are all racist in America, but like that's
He
racist.
definitely is. You can say that he is for sure.
Yeah,
We don't have any doubt about that.
that's it. That's it. And how is Maddie going to make the best first impression when your dad is already coming with such crazy biases and y'all, biases from an ignorant place? Like, you know that he hasn't researched anything. You know that he doesn't know really what's going on. He saw whatever clip he saw on his favorite show, and that's what he's running with. And it's really unfortunate.
And you know what? She's racist too, because why would she think that it was okay to bring him into this situation? Why would she think it was okay to put her dad on TV when she knows that this is how he is? It must be because she thinks it's okay.
Or she thinks that there's nothing wrong with it,
You
right?
think there's nothing wrong. So if you're my friend and you bring me around your racist family and they're saying all kind of crazy things, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, how'd you grow up in a family like that and not be like them? I'm going to be like, oh, you're one of them too. Because why did you bring me here?
Right. But unfortunately, I do think that people think there's a difference between I don't have a problem with it and that's wrong, right? People unfortunately don't differentiate that. You know what? If you're okay with racism, then you're racist too. and you need to dig deep and figure out why you're okay with it. And then when you like allow people to have ignorant conversations in front of you and you don't say anything, then you know what? You're in agreement with them. So it's really important to think about what you're saying, what you're listening to, the people you surround yourself with, and what you stand up for and what you don't stand up for. Because what's the saying, April? If you don't stand up for anything, then you fall for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's close enough, chat.
oh, was it wrong? Was it wrong, April? Why'd you yes?
If you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything.
Okay, well, isn't that what I just said?
It was close enough.
All right. Well, to the throuple, among Annie, I will tell you this: I'm not for the throuple. I do think that Matt is really digging Annie, and I'm not into the next episode, but I did see the clip, and when he decided that he was gonna have sexy time with Annie alone, just because Amani was like Amani was in the house, y'all. That's it. That's it. That's all.
So I'm curious, when we get to that, I'm curious, this would be my question. Was there an agreement in place that he violated or not?
Well, and again, I haven't seen the episode yet, but she was surprised, and he was like, "What? I thought because you were in the house, it didn't matter." So clearly, there was no agreement made. But the fact that it bothered her says a lot to me about this not being what you all talk about. Like, this is not a real throuple, ethically non-monogamous relationship, because if it was a real one, and I don't believe in it, but if it was real from the rules that I've been told in the last month, then you shouldn't have a problem because you both decided,
Right.
right? And so there are only so many.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I would think it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, that's it. So they meet at the Day of the Dead festival. They're seeing Annie for the first time in 6 weeks, and they want to bring her back, and their goal is to have a big blended family because Annie has like 3 kids and they have like 4 kids, and they want to just make it all happen in America. What are your thoughts on that, April?
I mean, I still have the same issue. Number one, they seem to have like an unrealistic time frame because they're like, we don't want to be separated from you so long again. But their divorce is going to take some time, and then filing a petition for her is going to take some time. And then the biggest issue is like when she goes to her consular interview, I really am concerned she's going to get denied on suspicion of being a prostitute just based on how long she's worked in the strip club and what people kind of associate with that and the kind of relationship she's going into.
That part. That part. Um. So another thing that was concerning to me was Amani talking about how she was having to choose between her kids and the person that she loves. What? I mean, I'm not a parent yet, but I'll tell you this: you're gonna put your kids first, are you not? And I'm not even talking about like your partner, your husband, your wife, your spouse, whatever. You're having concerns about a third it's the third of your children. Y'all need to sit down and have some serious conversations, because I'm not even sure why that's even a conversation. You got 4 kids, friend. 4. Is it 4 or is it 3?
I
You
feel like it's 3, but I could be totally missing one of them.
So 3, 4, whatever. You got a bunch of kids. You got more than 2 kids, and you're wondering whether this woman that you're trying to incorporate into your relationship, but you're super jealous about, who do you choose your kids over her? Oh Lord, y'all, listen, get your priorities straight. It is not that deep.
I mean, the way that people prioritize or don't prioritize their relationship with their kids is always like really interesting to me because when I was a single mom, I would have never prioritized a man or dating over whatever my child needs. But I also try to suspend judgment for people who really want to have a relationship and put time and effort into that, because they should be able to be satisfied as a whole person as well. So, but it's just interesting to watch different ways that people will navigate that. I mean, because some people are afraid if they let their child grow up and not have an opposite parent in the house, whether it's have a mom in the house or have a dad in the house, they feel like their child is missing out on something, and so they put time into dating because they want to give their child that. So in that way, they think it's for the kid too. So I try not to pass judgment unless the kid is being abused, abandoned, or neglected. But it's just interesting to watch.
He okay. Y'all put your kids first. Okay. They have to be here. You brought them in. That they should be your number one priority. That's all I'm gonna say. So Amani bought Addie some sexy lingerie, and that was like a whole thing that they were going through. And that's it. We're gonna find out next week, episode 5, that Matt had a little idea of his own and it didn't go well. Last and certainly not least are Mark and Mina.
Mina said Mark wore her out.
I love Mina. Love it. Je t'aime, Mina, je t'aime. She's mad at Mark. She feels alone and abandoned, but she's going to give it one more chance. And what I love about Mark and Mina, you guys, is Mina is so real in who she is. You see her au naturel, you see her frustrated, you see all the things. And I that's what I love. We're like back to the roots of 90 Day, where it's like not all so super manufactured. You see Mark making her coffee. He's making her cappuccino. I don't know what that brand is, but I know it's from like the 70s, and it's instant cappuccino. And like, I laughed because you guys, if you traveled at all, especially if you're a Parisian, where you drink cappuccinos and croissants all day, this instant cappuccino is not going to do it for you. But Mark, God bless his little soul. He thought he was doing something in his American ways. I don't know what you guys tell me what it's like a tin, and it's like red and silver, and it's rectangular. I don't know I just know that back in the day, I know my mom would see that stuff and be like, "Ooh, that's like expensive coffee," but really it was just like instant coffee. Do you know what I'm talking about, April?
I think it's the Colombian, but I never was a coffee drinker. Is it the Colombian brew?
I don't know.
There used to be commercials all over all over.
Yes, it's like silver,
and it has a song.
It has like a plug. And anyways, if you guys know, let me know in the replay in the live chat. Anyways, it's still instant, and it's not like a real cappuccino. You're not whipping anything. You're just like mixing. Anyways, bless his heart. They're talking about Jordan because, you know, Jordan is a hater. Is it Folgers? I don't know. That doesn't sound familiar, Michelle. But it could be.
I feel like it was a man blowing into like a long horn, and it had this big sound. But I'm gonna look for it later. I'm gonna look for it.
Yeah, look for it. I don't know what it is, to be honest. So they're fighting about Jordan. Jordan's daughter. Jordan is like a hater as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, April sent me something on TikTok this week that I was shocked. I was shocked, y'all. Y'all, do you know Jordan's husband is black?
Caught me so off guard.
Mark's daughter, who's hating on Mina, the black woman, has a black husband. What? Mind blown.
Mind blown.
Would never have thought that. International Coffee, Mighty Mini 428. I think you might be right. International. That sounds fancy. International Delight.
Right. Yes. Yes, Trina. International Delight.
That's it, Trina. International Delight. Thanks. I knew you guys would know. So, anyways, they're gonna meet with the neighbors. They're gonna have a cookout, and I use that term loosely.
I love the way that Mark has activities lined up to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but this was not a bar. This was a get together. This was a get together.
So Nick and Pat. Pat comes with her American flag cupcakes, Bob, and then another Pat, which is like the martini Pat. And these are not my words; these are Mina's word. But because she's 35, everyone's just old to her, right? Everyone's like 50, 60 plus. So she's trying to like just sort through that. And Martini Pat talks about how, she's going to get along great here. You're going to cook here. You're going to learn to crochet. You're going to learn to do martinis. Just get a dog. You're going to garden. And Mina's like, I'm not retired.
Linda, Martini Pat caught me so off guard when she started talking about her dog in the stroller because I was like, is she telling Mina to put her child in the dog stroller? I had to rewind it because I was like, surely she's not calling Maria a dog.
I didn't get it that way. I got it like she's gonna have her dog in a stroller. Mina can have her child in a stroller, and they
can stroll together. That's what on the second time I watched it, I was like, okay, I think that's what she means. But the first time I watched it, I was like, hold up.
Yeah, a lot going on. So another baby. And Martini Pat is basically like, well, you know what? All I know is that Mark and Jordan are very close, and Mark likes to keep Jordan happy. And I was like, yeah, no, that doesn't sound right to me at all. You guys, your children don't dictate your relationships, right? Of course, you have to keep them in mind and do what's best for your children. But Jordan's a grown ass woman with a grown ass family and her own husband. She can focus on her own relationship and butt out of her dad's relationship. And the only reason I think that she's so involved in her dad's relationship is because she's thinking of her future fortunes, period.
Yes.
Period. Period. Period.
I agree.
After the barbecue, apparently it was a great time for Mark and Mina. They had some sexy time. In the morning, they get up and they're very happy and it's all lovey-dovey. They decide they're going to go for a hike and love the fact that they are going for a hike in their Porsche. Silver Porsche SUV. And they're going to go to some hiking area. And then my note says it looks wild. And I think I'm Canadian. And like, if you guys want to see hiking photos and like going for long hikes, and the whole journey is to see beautiful scenery, be tranquil, get exercise. I was like, did that forest burn down?
Yeah, this looks more like a picnic than it looks like a hike. But she was cracking me up talking about, I do not know why he thinks I enjoy this.
I mean, I like hiking, and I was like, what are you guys like? Why does this gross? It was all like brown, and maybe it was fall, and I don't know, but it looked wild to me. It looked wild.
Yeah.
About like when they go on picnics in Paris, they go to the Louvre, and it's chic vintage. And again, this is not that. And Mark is worried about Jordan and Mina getting along, and he wants them to bond before they get married because he doesn't want to have any strife. And he literally says, and I'm going to say this, he says, parlez à Jordine, no, c'est sa fille, you talk to her. And he's basically saying, hey, I need you to talk to Jordan. And she's like, no, that's your daughter. You talk to her. She has the issue. And I agreed with her 100%.
100%.
Because Jordan's the one that's faking the funk. And that's your daughter. This is your relationship, your marriage, your future marriage. Get it together. Talk to your daughter. And she's like, why would I leave France? France is so beautiful. Paris is so beautiful. For what, a green card? And especially this hike that you just took her on in the non-wilderness. Stop playing around, you guys. Right. Michelle, is he dating his daughter? Is he dating Mina? That's that part.
How would you suggest that he facilitate their relationship? What would be the first step that you would tell him to do?
What would I tell Mark?
Yeah.
I would tell Mark to sit down with his grown 20 plus something daughter and say, I love this woman. I have already started a family with her and I want to be with her. If you have concerns about this relationship, know that I'm already in it and I believe in it and I need you to believe in me. And if you trust me and you know me as a person and you know I'm a good judge of character and I raised you to be a great individual, then you know that I can make some wise choices. I was with your wife or your mom for X amount of years. It didn't work out as adults, but you know that I'm not a hit it and quit it type of person. Then I would also say, if you're concerned about the finances, I'm good. I want you to be good and I want you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And anything that I leave to you in my death should be a supplement. It shouldn't be what you're counting on for you to have your best life.
Mm-hmm.
I raise you like that. I don't expect you to be like that. So I expect you to come to my relationship with respect and I will respect you the same way. That's what I would say.
I love that. I love that. The only thing I would add to it is I would go ahead and make a financial concession to her. I would go ahead and say, I have a life insurance policy that's worth X amount, and that's going to go to you, or my house
No,
that's downstate will go
no.
to you. I would go ahead and make a financial because I do want to go ahead and have my child taken care of. And I think people need to be transparent about their wills too.
And be transparent, but also allow your child to stand on their own 2 feet. It should be a supplement. It shouldn't be what they think that their life is going to be after you die.
No, no, no. I agree with that. Like it definitely should only be a supplement. It shouldn't be what you're banking on, but I would just want it to be clear because I would not want there to be any arguments when I'm gone. This wife who's younger than me is probably going to outlast me and these kids are definitely going to outlast me. So I would try to avoid any kind of squabbling between them by go ahead and lay out this is what I anticipate leaving you.
Fair. Fair. Guys, we're going to be back next week covering episode 5. We're heading over to, are we heading over to TikTok?
Yeah, let's head over to TikTok. Come on, Carolina. I know you're hanging in there.
For about 10 minutes. So follow April's live. We'll be there. And if not, we'll see you guys on Monday for another episode of 90 Day The Last Resort. And when I tell you guys, the tell-all is the best tell-all since the leak tell-all, I'm not even playing. Love y'all. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.